I know that it is, Johan would have made statements that it is we as his family and we as a nation do not agree with. It was disrespectful and it was offensive and it should not have been done. And a lot of people are going to feel like maybe he deserves what it is he gets, but he's a human being and he's my brother, and more than anything we just want him to survive. So if you can't help, please do help.
Well, boy, Richard, I don't know what to say about that. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night to the viewers on YouTube. Good night. I'm waiting for the rest to come up. Scorpion King, send my invite. Richard, Kitty Gill, it's taken on my side and all. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. Trini View, I would say that, But let's tap the screen, share the live. Good night, Queen. Well, what's going on? Good night, Should Finder. Or let's tap the screen and share the live. I would have seen where Johan is being served the PDO and they are looking to keep him locked up. I am coming here tonight to appeal on his behalf. I know that he would have said some inflammatory things. I know he would have hurt the East Indian diaspora. I know that he would have mocked and jeered the God that they worship. I know that what he said was offensive. I know that. I am not going to stay here and pretend like what he said wasn't offensive. But what I'm saying right now is, and I'm appealing to the Minister of Homeland Security, the Honorable Roger Alexander, I think he would have learned his lesson. And I think based on his health situation, that you all should release him. I think that keeping him there, it would have sent a message, as it did with Olive, and my other friend, I think he would have learned his lesson, and I am pleading that he be released. I know, again, what he said was hurtful, what he said was cruel. I know. I would have made a video saying in no uncertain terms that I don't support that. I don't support anyone disrespecting the Prime Minister even though they are doing a pack of crap. I don't support anyone disrespecting her. At the end of the day, she's the Prime Minister. Right? And I'm saying that based on his health situation, that you guys cut him loose. Cut him loose. You all don't want a situation where his health deteriorates, and I am being told that his health is declining. He's not a well person. He suffers with sickle cell. And I don't want a situation where his health declines and he meets his end behind bars. I already condemned what he said. You have never, if you all look back on my videos, I have never uttered a curse word or disrespected the Prime Minister in any manner. I don't go down that road. He made a mistake. He's a grown man. He made a mistake. He was emotional. He was wrong in what he said. But based on the fact that he is ill, he is sick, he is in need of medical attention, I think that they should release him. And I'm pleading, I'm begging on the Minister of National Security to please release Johan. Madam Prime Minister, his wife would have she would have come to you, she would have asked to have an audience with you, and you turned her down. I'm saying, right now the government is not looking good in terms of the way that they treat with the population. And to show good face, I think you all should do it. You all should do it and let him be the example that nobody will go and make those inflammatory statements again. I think that, because let's be real. What law has he broken? What law? Show me in the Constitution that he broke a law. What law has he broken? Angela, I am just keeping the faith. I just keeping the faith. Richard, I understand what you're saying, but the message needs to get out. The message needs to get out. We can't let him languish in the jail cell, and his health is getting worse. And I'm saying, I would have begged and pleaded for Olive, and Olive was subsequently released. I'm saying they could do the same. He suffered long enough. He suffered enough. Richard Lee, I am not advertising for them. I am pleading on the brothers' behalf. We have to be our brothers' keepers. I am not his relative. I don't even know Johan from a place, but I'm saying because based on his health situation, that they should release him. All right? We can't be off with his head. The brother made a mistake, and I'm positive that if he gets out, he will not go down that road anymore. I know they would have made him an example, and I'm positive he would not go down that road. Right? So, Chatter, what you have to say? Good night.
Well, good night. Good night, good night to everybody who listening on YouTube and who viewing us here on TikTok right now, right? I totally agree with you what you're saying, right? I totally agree. Take an example. not read feedback. That's an example.
Richard, can you mute your microphone, please? Thank you.
Yeah. And just like what you say, Amber, what law has the man broken, right? Yeah, he disrespect the Prime Minister and the Hindu community with their gods and thing, right? He disrespect them, right? But what law has he broken? He hasn't broken no law. You understand? And I find that that's such an example of the man. He's sick, right? He's deteriorating in prison right now. You understand? And this just take me back just like when I was speaking on Candace Live. We no longer have a freedom of speech. In Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have a freedom of speech. But Keith Rowell, you are the... Sorry about that, I got called it. When Dr. Keith Rowley was the Prime Minister, how much people cost Dr. Keith Rowley and tell him all kind of things? And we haven't seen nobody get a detention order. You understand? You understand? This UNC government is just vindictive. Yeah, sorry about that. This UNC government is just vindictive, and they just take away the rights of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We no longer have a right of movement. We don't have no longer a right of speech. You understand? That's just another thing they're taking away from us. So anytime we speak out against the government or what they are doing, that we are being victimized, we are being served a detention order. You understand? Because I come back to just like the same thing what Jason De Silva did. I ain't see Jason De Silva break no law.
Hold on, Chatter. Hi, Richard. Can you mute your mic, please?
That come just like what Jason De Silva did. What Jason De Silva did. He ain't break no law. They lock him up. You understand? He have a case going on right now. Look at Lisa Philip went Labor Day. What they arrest her for? You understand? Speaking out for the right things. So that come back just like it. Anybody who speak out against this government, we are stand a high chance of getting a detention order. Even us here on the panel and all, if we only said something a little out and they take it wrongfully, in the morning police could come and kick down we door and that is it, we gone. And is that the kind of leadership we want for Trinidad and Tobago right now? Amber, is that what we need for Trinidad and Tobago?
I want to come in and say something quickly. Could I do that, please? In that we are in a SOE. Under SOE, there's no more law. So people are now waking up and trying to call for rights. You have no rights in an SOE. This whole thing is being deliberately done. Now look at the simple fact. If you say something out of timing on this live, TikTok will either block you or warn you, not so? Then the question is, why did they allow Johan to make an entire video with that obscene language? Why didn't TikTok say he broke community standards and then no one would have known what he said? Is that not so? I have put up videos, and before my video goes up, I get a strike, and they pull it down, and they say, you are breaking community standards. My video was removed for saying the word bingo. They pulled down my whole video. How did they allow the video of Johan Harry to be put on TikTok for entertainment purposes only, remain on TikTok, and then arrested for saying something that breaks community standard? It is a setup. And Miss Host, you are very wise. You have been given very accurate prophecies. Lie low. You cannot appeal for rights in an SOE. This is judgment time, and it will only get worse. I am not in agreement with what the government did, but I cannot speak against it. What Johan did, I saw his videos. I put up a video on it, and they took down my video defending what Johan did. Why? Why did they take it down? Now, Johan deliberately said what he said, and then came on and thanked his friends for supporting him. He knew what he was doing. He offered himself as a martyr, which is the only thing he had, because he first supported the UNC government and got many votes and got them in power. He was a strong supporter himself, Kitty and Jason. How could they now turn back and they began to harass him, do him all these things, and he got frustrated. He tried to appeal on behalf of Kia. Nothing. He just got frustrated, and he said, listen, he did that knowing, and I heard him say, he knows the consequences, but he's doing it anyway because he's prepared to die. I will join him. That is what spirituality is. That is being a martyr for Christ. He used the curse word, I wouldn't use it. But Trinidad and Tobago is not a Hindu state. It's a Christian state. Point two, a government has no business involving in religious affairs. There's a separation of church and state. How could a government arrest someone for saying something religious? How could that? There's no law against that. Government has an individual can sue another individual for slandering them. That's the law. But how could the government? Who's the government? The government of Trinidad and Tobago, a Christian nation, is now, beating to death someone for disrespecting a Hindu religion. No, well, whether you disrespect or not, that is between Hindu and him, not the government. So understand what is happening. This is a setup. They are not allowing community standards to be broken rigidly. I have put up videos educating the country as to what is happening. They have not even allowed my video to last a proper 2 days. Think of it. They allowed the young lady to say, let Kamala address be given and let the Venezuelans bomb Kamala. They allowed that video to go up. Why did they allow that to stay up and then arrest her for 4 months for treason? No, this is no longer democracy government. And I'm going to come off immediately because I am being attacked. But I came on because of this lady's videos have always been enlightening, very powerful. I'm saying keep your videos, stay on the law. You cannot confront this government. There's no way because they are not submissive to democracy. Right? So thanks for allowing me to share that because I care about you. You have to save yourself. Right? Bye-bye.
Thank you for your contribution, Richard. I understand what you're saying, but if we all just sit down and allow, I think ventilating the issues and all these things is what we can do. We are not looking to outrightly challenge the government, but at least to ventilate it and to appeal to some sort of humanity they have left, right? Else we just have to lie down and die.
Well, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, but no, man.
We can pray. Did it help in the protest for Kia? Didn't it get worse? I'm not going to listen to you. It is a spiritual thing. You have prophesied about it. This is the sign. You said in one of your videos, over 1 million people will die. And only 500, was it you? I saw in one of 500,000 remain. There's going to be destruction upon Trinidad and Tobago because of the judgment of God. We cannot stop that. We cannot stop that. But we can pray. We can get together as each other, but we cannot change the government's action. No way. Try if you will, but I fear for what can come back at you.
Okay. Scorpion, good night. You have a contribution to make?
Canada that is real failure on their police and the Homeland Security Minister that is real failure. Tell me a little girl like that what they had to do all that, bring down all that riot squad thing and all that bacchanal, lock up a girl, charge she for 3 different charges, just making up charges just to hush the girl mouth. That real failure thing they want, real failure they want right now. We they going to lock up your father for. What is the reason they lock up your father for? What is the real reason they lock up your boy father and that girl? I don't know what really going on in this place. I really don't know what's going on in this place at all. Real madness going on in this place. Right? So you under a state of emergency, killing still going on. So this emergency is not for killing and for them thing. It's to lock him out. They can't come out and say nothing bad about them. Everything you have to come out there, they say everything they on them side. Everything had to be them. You can't silence the people. We had to talk you right. This is we island, you know. We were built this. Without them, without we, they would never be with each other yesterday. So we had to fight ways we own.
The state of emergency is not to protect the citizens and them from the criminals, it's to protect the government from the citizens and them. And the citizens is not to be afraid of the government, it's the government that to be afraid of the citizens. Because we who put them there, is we who employ them to handle the affairs of Trinidad and Tobago. It's not the other way around. You understand? And one thing I say shame on the ground report, because all you bring up Joshua Samaru father on Father's Day, when the man just now lost his son, and all you want to interview that man on Father's Day, and that man he said if I had money and if I had a gun, I would have killed every policeman. Because the man hurting, and all you broadcast that and make the man get locked up and a permanent detention order. You understand? So I say shame on the ground report. All I just set up. You understand? Because I was trying to find a way somehow to take him out, and they get a way to take him out. You understand? So this government, boy, I don't know when we go say enough is enough and people for we to come out and stand up, because we can't hide enough. Just like what you say, Amber, we can't hide. We have to come out and say enough is enough. You understand?
That is so true. And I keep saying this, right? We know that with everything that has gone on, a lot of things would have been said about Dr. Rowley. We know that. A lot of persons would have gotten away with unspeakable things said about him, said about his wife, said about his upbringing. A lot of things were said about Dr. Rowley. And to my recollection, 1 or 2 people would have faced the courts for their mouth. So why this heavy-handed behavior? Why? Go back and jog your memories to the disgusting things that was said about Dr. Rowley. The amount of protests I reviewed on YouTube that took place, 1 or 2 would have had the riot squad, yeah? But at the end of the day, people were allowed to protest. People were allowed to voice their opinions. So why now? Why now? And we have to be fair. We have to be fair. There is a lot of social ills taking place in this nation. There is a lot. Look, we have the Navy SEALs coming here. And it was being told to us that it was to help fight crime. But go back, as Rambos would have said, go back to the utterances of Donald Trump and his targets. What is he targeting? So once again, it appears as though we are being used as a launching pad to deal with Cuba.
So
And
it's
are
not,
we ready for
so,
that?
so
Yes,
it's not
Scorpio?
the serious, it's not the serious about this US Navy SEALs down here.
They are here. They are here already. Yes, they are here. And the U.S.
Really
Commando is
understand.
training the TTDF. They are here. And as Rambers again said, it seems as though our nation is going to be the launching pad to interfere with Cuba. We really in the last days, we really in the last days. You could see it. You could see it. It's like
I don't
all
really
the
feel Cuba, you know. Colombia.
really. What do you think?
I feel it's
What do you think?
Colombia.
Colombia. Yeah, he
I
did talk
really
about
feel because
Colombia
he
too.
went Venezuela. He said
Yeah.
Venezuela was the shipping. Right, so I feel after Venezuela is Colombia because we're right close next door. You understand? So I really feel he's using Trinidad and Tobago because all of a sudden the Prime Minister came out and said, hey, we have Navy SEALs down here. You understand? That was recently he came out and said when they was going in Venezuela and there was training the soldiers and boom, they went and take Maduro. You understand? So I really feel is Colombia the targeted next, and they're using Trinidad and Tobago as a launching pad to go into Cuba.
Cuba.
You understand? So let me just see what will
Yeah,
really
but
happen, what will transpire.
once again, we have to hear the noise with the choppers. Once again, we have to be uneasy. I mean, oh gosh. What are we going to profit from that? What did we profit from Venezuela? What profit did we gain
We still
from
can't get oil.
meddling with that?
We still can't get oil deal from Venezuela, even though Trump is in charge of Venezuela. Did the Trinidad and Tobago get any oil deal or gas deal from Venezuela? We ain't get nothing
Not
from
tonight.
you understand? Now we using us again. And next to the go somewhere and our country say enough is enough because we have no defense here. The Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, them is just men in uniform and them is not true soldiers, you know. We don't have no defense here. If somebody decide, well, all right, or they come and attack, we will attack all there. What will be our situation? You understand? That's why when Dr. Keith Rowley was there, he said, I'm keeping neutral. You understand? I'm not picking no side. But no, this woman, like, she, wherever Trump changed she up, she running with that 100%. She okay. And she putting all of our life at risk. Because them have the ability to leave the country now. We don't. They could get up in the morning and leave and go. If shit is the fan and Trinidad and Tobago is under imminent threat, them could get up with their family and leave and go in it. We had to stay here and take it. Them and the 1% could do that. They could afford to do that. But what about the rest of us? That way we had to ask.
Good night to the panel. Good night to the panel. Good night, Miss Anacksunamoin. Xavier, Scorpion, you get the link, right?
Yeah, thanks,
Right.
yeah, I get
So
through.
everybody here up and running. You know, when I see the beautiful Anacksunamoin come up here tonight, decide to do the show. You understand? I say, and I actually when she talking about, she say the story about Johan. And the first person that would have made the contribution here, he would have done a very good job in the first part. But the second half, I don't agree with him because you know what's going on. God didn't give you a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a song mind. We should have no fear of the man who could destroy the body. We must have fear of the man who could destroy body and soul. So to say the least, I never hear nobody here say that agree with the statement of Johan. Nobody here agree with no statement. The statement was disrespectful to people and to their religion. It was disrespectful. But the action the state have taken considering that it is wrong. And let me tell you why. The man didn't break a law. He was disrespectful. So if my neighbor disrespectful to me, is it right for me to tell the police lock them up for disrespect? Come now, man, let me be real. Let me be real. There are certain things that is not right, but it is not unlawful. If I get up in the morning and me feel to tell you to say good morning, me feel to tell nobody good morning, it's morally wrong. But is it unlawful? And that is the thing. And I am seeing this instance here that the government of Trinidad and Tobago, all them that in charge, the Roger Alexander, the Alistair Guerrero, the Wayne Sturge, I am seeing that they are advantaging people and using their office to do that. Because if they were normal men, they would have never be able to lock up anybody. We'd have say, a man would have said back something much of disrespectful. Anna Roberts is. Watch how disrespectful Philip Edward Alexander is. Watch how sad Barry Padarad reached to till he take a picture of a man in the parliament, and one could only think about what they will do with that picture. If the man go lost, he work next 2-3 weeks or 3 months, the contract might never be renewed. Oh, sad to say, the worst case scenario, he could go missing. That is what could take place here. But the people of Trinidad and Tobago not questioning these things on them. They are allowing a government to spit in the face. And we have to tell them no. Look all where they say go and protest here, we can't protest there, we can't protest so we can't protest. Who is he? Or you know that them breaking human rights law? This SOE, if the government really take this to the international court, this SOE is going to fall out of the court. They will deem this to be illegal. And it don't have to be now, you know. If no, they ain't get away. They could get away now. But somebody is going to bring this government to the court, to the international court. Look, years after, the whole woman for war crime, she own family. Or you feel like it happen? This what's going on here in this country. It is wrong. And there are certain people that have that operating like dog. That when Kamala blow a whistle, the back in. That heavy duty, that NCW, that Matara, that Twiggy, that all of them on a radio station. Imagine them fellas and them. Seeing the whole country suffering. The whole country suffering, work closing down. That's the reality outside there. We could only state it here and you feel it's a joke. Walk down High Street, walk through town. Go on the taxi stand, go on the taxi stand, see who traveling, see who not traveling, see how the population dip. But the government of the BP didn't have it yet. That they could have done better and everything going good. And watch what we end up in this country. Watch what we end up in. We end up in a place that they are telling us what we are seeing is not true. What we are hearing is not true. The economic pressures that is going on now, they are telling us is not true and we are seeing something different. This thing like Animal Farm, like George Orwell 1986. You're seeing something and they're telling you, boy, that's not true, boy. This whole thing wrong. We here as a country, not just one person, all of us must take to the street despite what the government say and shut down this country and say enough is enough. We could do better than what we are seeing here in this government. We could do better than that. What you want? What you going on? Do you want in the prison? The man didn't do nothing wrong. We don't lock him up and he do nothing wrong already. That is to send a message to the African community, to anybody who stand up against the government. There is a message just sending. Or you understand? Or you understand that? There was a man that they called Willie Lynch. Anytime certain African used to be out of hand in certain field, in certain slave camp, he used to go around and break them, beat them to the brink of death in front of the wife, and a snot and thing coming out the nose. Putting the woman upside down and having 3 and 4 men raping them. That is what you saw, what they're doing with Johan. If you read The Making of a Slave, you're going to see what's going on here. Every duty on them is in full role with the concept of a breaking of a slave. Wall Street, who say for the people in full role with breaking of a slave. And anybody that keep on saying, hey, things good in this country, and we know things not good, is enrolled in that system of advantage in this country. We must reach a point, we must say enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. And I go hand over to somebody else, man. I don't want to take up too much of time. But Anaska looking beautiful. I don't know if you come for war or you come for peace. I don't know. You're dazzling, man. Never pass on the banner to somebody else.
Hey, Jeffrey. What do you think about that scene of playoff in Tobago, boy?
Boy, that desperation, boy. The people desperate. The people we desperate, we hungry. I see a video with Tupac, where Tupac say, if all the food and thing in the world is in a room, right, and you have to sing together, 2 or 3 days you go sing, you go, oh God, let me get the food. And after 2 or 3 days, men start to break down the door and come in with guns and take it. That is what going on in Tobago. Just now, then singing for the supper, and when they realize it, wait now, they have to sing and sing and sing, you go see.
Nah, boy. I said, nah.
Yeah, that's good.
I said, nah.
Jeffrey. But what do you think about what they do to Gary Aboud?
I wasn't I seen something with Blue Waters, so I thought it was
No.
Blue Waters. That was circulating.
No, they said how they say 5 years ago he did respect COVID-19 regulations, and they're taking him to court for that now. So he come out and speak against the government, so that's another way they're going to take him.
Gary Aboud?
Yeah, what I do with Gary Aboud is again a next piece of advantage. Because at the end of the day, Gary Aboud was standing up for the COVID restrictions, and not only Gary Aboud. There were thousands of other activists. Even I was there, I was there too. So this is some trump up thing to keep this man on charge, because this man, you realize that he's the only Syrian person that coming out and being outspoken. When he don't have to, he can live a comfortable life. But Gary Aboud understands something that the rest don't understand. Is that the same people he getting the money from, the same people that come in and buy any curtain, he understands he needs to be kind to them. That Gary Aboud. And I will always have respect for him. Even said before he started joining us here on the show, he was a man that I always admire. Because out of all of them, Gary Aboud gives back. He doesn't always come here on the media and talk about, if you have a registered business and you want to do upgrade to the business, you could carry it to him and give you half. You cannot go in Gary Aboud's store as a worker and say you're hungry, make sure you get something to eat. That is the kind of man that the man is, and I sit down and eat with him at the table. You know, it are people when you come by them, they give you a plastic cup. You can't eat from the same spoon. I never see you operate so. I make a chow at time and eat the pea and in normal like everybody else. When I eat a chow, they come down everywhere, and then all oil smell. That is to tell you how the man is. And that is what they're doing him. What he's doing is unusual. What they're telling him is here what's going on. Let them people and them suffer and stay away from them. And if you don't, we go put some spokes in your wheel.
Yeah, but Jeffrey, see any brothers and them want build here too. They can't go around, come around a man like that. You see any brothers build here?
They shouldn't come around the man like that in truth. But you see, this government have no boundaries. There are no boundaries. So you see, let me turn it back over to somebody else who might want to think. You understand? I know he has some powerful contribution, just like Anacksunamoin. I'm hoping to see you as regular as possible.
Yeah, but what going on, princess? You must send princess. I'm a princess. Oh, we're not princess under the weather. She just want a little time off.
Well, Princess will be back sometime next week. Please God, and I'll be holding the fort in the meantime. But I wasn't getting back into the whole politics thing because it can be very, very dirty and nasty. But so many ills are taking place in this society. Look, I saw a lot of parents trying to organize their documents to get the school supplies grant. And I really hope, pleading from the bottom of the heart to the Ministry of Social Development, please make that grant accessible to parents. Please, I'm begging you. A lot of parents are unable to purchase school books, uniform, even pay registration fees that are coming up. You know, this is always debatable on whether or not schools are supposed to be asking for registration fees and donations. When I had to register my daughter last year, I had to pay $1,500, right? And some parents will not be able to afford that. And that needs to be done away with. So I'm really hoping that the parents who would have applied for the school supplies grant, I really hope that they get through and they get that added help. Because let me tell you something. They need to do something about that school book monopoly that is taking place too. Something needs to be done. Yes, the laptops were given, and to go and face the stores to purchase those school books. I have to purchase school books. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. And when you're going and looking to buy them second-hand, they're expensive too. They're expensive. So, I really hope that the applicants receive their grant and are able to get an ease off of their pockets, because we know the 100,000 who are unemployed, where will they be getting the money to purchase school books, school uniforms, school shoes, all these things? I and us was studying to go and apply for the grant, right?
Amber, you remember a long time when we was going to school, right?
Yeah.
And you come out and start that water, a family member going in standard one, you said give them all your book.
Yes.
You remember? Yeah, you remember it was just hand.
Yes.
Then after you're getting the bad. Right now, you can't do no hand down. The book where they use in standard one this term. Next term is at the front book again.
Yes. And that is a bubble that's going that is going on with the bookstores. Because it's first edition, it's second edition, it's third edition. Like, why? Why?
And if you watch it, just one paragraph.
Yes. I have seen it myself.
That's just for people to spend unnecessary money, right?
Thank you. That's all that they want. And for me, what I do, I go on the Facebook pages and I look for gently used school books. I have no shame. I have no shame. I am not going in the bookstore and pay $4.50, $3.50 for a textbook. There are pages on Facebook. I go there every year. I also sell my books. I get a little cash. You can't do that. You understand? And the books are in good condition. It is what it is. You have to find some way to beat the system. I'm not talking about school bags. Oh Jesus! Don't talk about school shoes.
In Form 4. I look all over for this textbook. I get in St. James. You know how much I pay for that textbook? $488. For a textbook, eh?
Yes.
And she have to get that.
Yes. Yeah.
So what about the people? And you know one thing I had to say, Amber? I listened to that clip with stand up in Parliament and saying that how under the PNM they only had people in them cutting grass and thing with CPEP and URP, right? And as they get pay and they spend, as soon as they buy bread, the money done, right? And I really feel this UNC government is so untouched with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. People could have still survived, people could have still do something with that money, right? All you come and close down CPEP, URP, forestry workers, put over 64,000 people on the breadline, right? School is going to close when it open back. Where people getting money, just like what you saying, Amber, where people getting money to buy books. That people with 3, 4, 5 children have to pay rent, because when children home, you should know that. I know it, you know it. When children home, there's eat a lot.
Listen, chatter. That is the yes. I must be glad for the break for July, August, but I just had to be facing the grocery on many occasions.
More than usual.
Because children eat and eat and eat. They're eating more than usual. Yeah. Yes.
You understand? And when Kadisha means to stand up in Parliament and say that, you understand? And how they're paying a labourer $2.20 a day and CPEP wasn't getting that, because why? All you could afford to pay a labourer that because or you hire a fraction of what the CPEP force was. The CPEP force was over 50,000 people. Or they himself hire a good 10,000 people, and all they want to brag and boast while they're giving them the wages. And the people still ain't getting the money because there are people who work all kind of 5, 6 fortnight and ain't get paid. So what they're bragging about? I don't understand what they're bragging about. This UNC government
Then there are people working on for charity. Then charity people working for now under this government.
Good night, all.
Hi, Max. Good night. Hold on 1 second, right? Kitty, want to make a contribution? You could just mute your mic, please. Go ahead, Kitty. Like Kitty might give in trouble. Like Kitty internet.
I don't think all you might really hear, man, because rain falling on my side, the internet so long. I'm trying to view the whole live. I try my next account. So I just here to give support.
You're fighting Kitty hard, boy.
Okay, Kitty. So go ahead and mute my Kitty.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Now, the guy who I just came in on the live, and forgive me if I didn't hear the full contribution from the guy who was stating that the government of the day is probably causing more harm than good by using what he claimed to be a bragging point with the less jobs and the less money that they give in the citizenry. Right? Now, I am not I did not vote last general election. I'm neither in support of the PNM, neither am I in support of the present government, because for the longest while I've come to the awareness that if I don't get up and get up bread in the morning, none of them are going to give it to me. Right? They continue to feed their friends and financiers, and that is all that matters to them. They will come to the electorate, fool them, give them a few candies in a bag, and we accept that gladly, which I would say, for lack of a better word, is a serious blow to the intelligence of my people in my nation, because we study at university level, get doctorate, and have one person come on a podium and tell you, I could lead you for the next 5 years. You dip your finger for that person, and that person doing your own set of crap, and all you're saying is you will blindly follow them into hell, believing that they are the only option for this country, and I do support that. Whether it be PNM or UNC, I do not support it. Because, yes, this UNC took away a lot of jobs, but it was alarming to me to know that a lot of politicians had families benefiting off of contracts, have relatives in foreign countries getting CPEP and European salaries and studying in universities abroad. And if any one of these accusations were false, by now somebody would have been facing a slander charge in court, and nobody brought it to court. Nobody challenged the government of the day to say they lie and are taking them to court, which means to me it's true. And how could I put my faith in a party that continues or willing to continue that kind of underhanded behavior? Because, for lack of a better word, or from my point of view is this: had the PNM won the general election, what would we have been facing today? We can't blame UNC. We would have had to blame somebody. And with situations where you have pop-up companies with man-wife getting millions of dollars in contracts, are we comfortable with that as an electorate, as law-abiding citizens? Are we comfortable with that? That's my contribution. Thank you.
I like that contribution, and that contribution sounds like something that was very neutral. But the thing, yeah, my only problem about that contribution is that it is a slippery slope argument. First to begin, the country must be governed by our government, right? By the first stage. And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So, to say the least, we had to make a step in the right direction. And from the last election, judging from what we were seeing taking place within the PNM, the people would have felt secure enough to step away from the PNM. Right? Now, the PNM at this point in time is no longer run by Keith Christopher and the regime that he had they set up. Now we stepped into the UNC and we see what's going on. So what is the next step here now? Because we seen a new PNM and we seen a UNC that done start to fail already and not even serve half term. So what is the next step here? We can't continue with the UNC neither. And if now, let me be real. We can't poison the well. Because if we do so and we say no party in good, then we're gonna end up in chaos and Trinidad. There must be a party, because that is how this system set up. There must be a governing structure. And if the governing structure reached a point that it's failing, let me attack the structure and deal with the people now who is causing the mayhem in it. We deal with the PNM. So who is left to be dealt with now? We have to deal with the UNC. Them is not big bad UNC. You know? All right, according to what I say, brother man.
Yeah, but did you see?
Wrong, wait, let me finish. If the PNM would have done something wrong, by all means persecute them. But right now, the wrong that we are seeing being done is not the PNM that doing it. We need to, you see, You see that old PNM thinking that we think we don't vote out PNM already. Let me deal with the UNC. What the UNC doing? Vetoing democracy in this country. Imagine Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have made an allegation in Parliament that it had 3 senators take bribe, and up to now nobody lock up Kamala. Kamala Persad-Bissessar should have been behind bars, because if she didn't send the paper or the evidence to the DPP, she's an accomplice, a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
but remember,
And nobody,
remember they use parliamentary privileges to speak about certain things.
Yeah, but hey, it's a law concerning that you cannot make that type of allegation in the parliament. That is a criminal. That is a breach journey.
Yes.
Right now.
Once it
all civil activists supposed to bring lawsuit against John Jeremy and the Prime Minister.
The technicalities in that is, once you are making a contribution in Parliament, you are entitled to parliamentary privilege. You remember when Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley was with the email gate, and he listed who said what and what was it about and what came out of that.
Listen, and you know what went out of that? It was investigated.
Yes, it was.
It was investigated.
But who get locked up?
Are you forgetting that? Now, in this instance,
who get locked up?
Who get locked up? Roger Gaspar supposed to investigate that. I would have went with Victor Roberts and produced a letter and say, oh, you hear what Kamala say? Up till now, nobody make a statement. Kamala report that to the police. Kamala reported to the police. Kamala never say, all right, this is what happened, and I reported it to the police. You see, I doesn't want to bring up certain thing in it. When Rowley says she was a jammer,
bring it up.
That's what you mean?
We talking openly. We speaking openly. Bring it up.
I am seeing a pattern with this government. That this government don't want people to question them. They're not interested in democracy. And what we must do as a democratic country, if you for country, we must come together and shut down this country and tell Kamala Persad-Bissessar, pack Shijaji bundle and go from there.
So let me ask you a question based on what you just said, right?
Yes, sir.
Based on what you just said, right? And I agree with you. But I often ask the question. You just said that we, and I call ourselves the electorate, right? The population, right? If we are unhappy, and as you say, nobody is saying anything about this and nobody is saying anything about that, who is it going to start with to make our voices be heard? You? Me?
Yeah,
the host? Nobody, because everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid. Yeah, we will say that on this panel. But not one of us willing to stand up in front of the Red House and block them and tell them we put you there because they're afraid to get locked up.
But the same thing with all the
Who making the population afraid?
22-year-old child.
Who making the population afraid? Because when you think about the Alyssa Phillips story, and when I think about Johan, who is making the population afraid? When you hear Roger Alexander say we will deal with certain things, it's them who doing it. Them telling you, take it as it is.
Yeah, but you know what?
All the time I just go in front of Parliament. All the time.
Yeah, but you know something? Is your next of kin, is your neighborhood, when I say your next of kin, is your nieces and nephews, your brothers and sisters who join in the protected services and them who come in and do the dirty work of the politicians. That's why I call them mindless muscle, because they will stand up and agree with you behind closed doors, but when they put on the uniform, they come and arrest you in the same protest that they agree with you 10 minutes before. Tell me how that making sense.
No, but they're following orders.
The following orders. And here what I'm telling you, if our next law in pass in Trinidad and Tobago, we will always end up in this. There was just the other day, the right to intervene, right, was passed in America. And if you see, if one police officer seen a next police officer advantaging a citizen, the next police officer ought to intervene. And if he don't intervene, he can get charged. If something like that in passing Trinidad and Tobago, police will be left powerless to intervene in situations that they deem to be unlawful. We have a serious problem in Trinidad and Tobago.
But they don't care. They don't care because they overworked and all they want is a monthly salary. That's all they focus on. That's what they join the service for. That's what they want. They want the overtime money and the perks that come with it, and that comes with any high-profile paying job. They don't care about the humanitarian spirit that's involved.
And where you think that causing that? You ever see, I show you what you will come. When the national anthem playing from them rest of country, boy, you just see them standing up with pride and playing it because they believe that is patriotism. In Trinidad and Tobago, we are not patriots, and that is the reason why they can deal with us like this. People will walk in front of gunfire because they believe and they will die for the country. That is the kind of spirit we have to have. That is how Butler and them take over the country at a certain point. That is how Mahatma Gandhi take over. Because people believe in something. And the thing about this here in this country is that the politicians, how small Trinidad is, they're sowing discord. They're sowing discord. My favorite food is roti. I go eat any Indian people. They're different from me, yes, but my favorite food is roti and doubles. I like that. I'm a vegetarian. You understand? Some of women going in bars, not to see local, we just say we're going to see some venue. We like different things, but the politicians that make it look like, hey, it's a war thing between us. And when you have to watch, who you think pushing it? The one or two little African in the UNC party, and certain people sending certain message. Why are you doing that? Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to be a more better place that we have here. Look, let me show you something. The hospital in Sando, the new hospital wing, you know, that was a wing to put in all government buildings in Sando. When UNC come in power, they turn that into a hospital. Brother, people only setting up certain things in this country for certain people to eat and to
but
always
wasn't that
eat
same?
and
Wasn't
to continue
that
eating.
Wasn't that same building allegedly owned by the Nahus/Alwari family?
No. That was always the San Fernando car park.
You sure?
Yes, that was always the San Fernando
You
car
certain?
park.
Certain. Because
it had no building there, brother. That was a car park. I from South, I can tell you.
Right, but when it was being built, I understand that a contract went out to the Nahus family, who would have procured a contract, and the building is owned by Alwari and them.
No, that building not owned by Alwari. That was a government project. The builder building there. That is the San Fernando new new part of the hospital. The quality teaching hospital.
All right.
That was to house all government building inside it. And them leave it so because certain people was done benefiting from rent and thing. That is what's going on in this country. And you see, brother, my thing is this, government come and government go, we have to get it right one day. And the sins of the past mustn't pass on into the future. And let me tell you something, I see all government. I get real promises already. And I'm saying this because I want to say, I see a difference in the leadership in the PNM today. I see a different person. And I believe that I can give my support to Penelope Beck. I telling you the truth. I see now woman operating natural, boy.
Yeah, but then how come and I want to put this on record, how come I was listening to the news, and tell me if I'm wrong for what I heard. I believe if it's not international political analysts, local political analysts said that if UNC is to call an election in the morning, they're going to win. Right? They had to know what they're saying, right? They had to know what under the ground that we don't know about. So if you are seeing strength in Penelope, and we believe that Kamala doing everything wrong, how could they still win an election in the morning? Is this country so corrupt and like the behavior that and the treatment that they're getting?
I
don't see what a man saying it go rain tomorrow and sun shining. The thing about it is this, it yet to be proven. If it is, let us call election in the morning, let me see where Bali go grow.
Yeah, but okay. Let's go based on let's go as you just said, right? Rain tonight and sun in the morning. I firmly believe this was the mother of all elections for the PNM. I thought they were going to win the hands down.
Yes.
What happened?
They was in a vacuum. And let me tell you what has caused that. And it is happening in the PNM and it is happening in the UNC. The people are given the statistics and the people are giving them the feedback. It's people from in the same organization. Obviously, there is going to give them feedback that is relative towards them. People like me, people like Candace, people like Kitty, who was on the ground, was seeing something different.
We know PNM was going on lost. You was following our election properly.
Yeah. So we didn't know the PNM was going on lost regardless of the statistics that we are seeing in the public domain. Stuart Young put a whole platform of statistics and you see the PNM come and lost. I'm telling you at this point in time, concerning the international statistics that you may have seen, I'm not disputing that. I am telling you on the ground is something totally different. People disgruntled. They're fed up.
Just be mindful. Just remember.
As the UNC come in power, or you close down CPF forestry workers, look how much people on the bread line. You understand? Look at the crime. Crime is out of control. I telling you right now, the word on the ground is if UNC wake up in the morning and call an election, the PNM is back in office again.
Okay, and I respect that point of view.
The people are sick and fed up of the UNC government right now.
Right, but then remember we have a 2 weeks mentality in Trinidad and Tobago, eh? Look at what happened where...
Not enough wrong with people remember this for the next generation to come.
Yeah, but people still remember 2010 to 2015 like a fresh cut, and they put them back in office in 2025 to 2030.
Yes, because you know why? The people and them was disgruntled about the PNM or what Dr. Keith Rowley was doing. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar came out and said things what the people wanted to hear, like lower the traffic fines, create more jobs.
As every politician does do. Right. That's why I said earlier.
People believe her and they voted for her. And when she come in power, she take a 360-degree turn and she did the opposite.
Yes, true.
Because Barry Potter stand up in Parliament the other day and said that how the road fines is not a tax, it's a fine. When she was in opposition, she said, no, the PNM is taxing, that is another form of tax, and when I come in power, I will address that. Now she's saying, no, it's just a fine. The woman raised the road fines on them by 100%. You understand? Raised 100%. So you telling me right now, people is on the breadline, people are suffering, even the 1%, because Mr. Gary Aboud was up here the other day and saying right now, even the 1% and all feeling it, because let me tell you, rich people don't buy in it. Is the man who does buy from the have the rich.
I beg to differ. Who
does spend the most money in Trinidad and Tobago? As soon as a man gets paid, he running to buy something.
Yes, but again, yeah, but just taking a leaf out of my friend who made a contribution just now when he said, rain tonight and sun in the morning. The rich man will always cry that they're not making money. You see any $1 billion company closed down in this country? How much Starbucks went up in the past 3 weeks? How much Pizza Hut franchise went up? How much fast food outlet went up across the East-West corridor? It's littered. Every junction is a Starbucks.
Let the metal implant close down, let nutrients close down.
No, I'm not talking about government. I'm not talking about conglomerate companies. I'm speaking about
Okay.
yeah, but you're speaking about on this. You see, again, you have to do your research. There's something called big fish, middle fish, small fish. For the big fish to survive, that I cancel out the middle fish. You understand? So for Angus to run them big companies and Angus to run them not feeling the pinch because the rum still selling to fat. They closed down a bar and more fats happen. Who controlling promotion of the fat? Angostura subsidizing or subcontracting people to have a fat and a boat ride every week. The big companies not feeling the pinch. How much Starbucks went up in the past 6 months? Over a dozen along the East-West corridor. And if you check in the morning, right outside the doorstep is another one. So they're not feeling the pinch at all. They're crying wolf, and they're making a certain select member of the population believe that, right? KFC Independence Square. You ever see KFC Independence Square cry that they're not making profit? And they're owned by the 1%ers. The same Abu Hussein that they're not making money. What? You stay there and feel so, right?
Matthew.
You stay there and feel so.
Matthew.
Nah, I don't stay there and feel so. I'm telling you the truth. I as a person who drink and lime and thing out here, people in buy, punch. And when people buy rum, it's not to share no more. They buy a bottle of it inside the house and they try to drink. Real drinkers will tell you that. People like
right,
you live in probably, I don't know, in a better side of life.
No. I live in the same, I live and walk the same road that you walk on.
It's funny if you live in the same road. How you didn't know that the PNM was going and lost election? Let me be real. Everybody.
No. Listen. Again, I stand to be corrected with my point of views, but I did say, right? It was the belief of the PNM party that they had a very good standpoint to win the election, and the following morning was a different story. And I was only saying that in contribution to what the guy was saying when I told him that the political analyst said that if they call election in the morning, UNC is going to win. And I again asked the question, is it that the electorate in this country likes corruption, or is this country so rigged up in bad experiences that they will hand over the reins of power to a system that is already oppressing the people? That's my simple questions, And again, my point of view.
Matthew, before you persist, right? I want to answer one question here. You talk about the big conglomerates, right?
Right.
They not feel any pinch. And it's true to a certain extent. Now, if you understand accountants, there's something that are called stage migration. Now, when a company have several businesses in one company, right? Not all the companies in the group of companies does do well. So what has happened? When one overdo well, the profit look like it come from one aspect at the sales. All right, KFC is not just selling chicken to the public. They are buying so much chicken that they're selling it to other franchise. And the other franchise may be taking more chicken now. And it looking like overall KFC making a sale. But where the sale coming from, if you really break it down, now I can get the figures here, I doubt that heavily that KFC is making the same amount of profit from the population. Some form of stage migration is going on, that the production level in terms of other things like the delivery and other things ramp up now. And the finding avenues to make more sales based on that and not of the population. Now,
yeah, but I'm going based I'm going based on the statistics that was produced on the print media, where they said most companies during COVID was feeling the financial pinch to the point that they were closing down, sending home workers, and Agostini was coming on the front page Express Newsday and other print media and saying that we're recording billion-dollar profits in sales for the COVID period. So I'm listening to you.
No, well, right.
Let me say something I could like to the
That's
panel.
why I explained to you. That's why I explained to you. Now, when they say sales, they say sales for the entire thing now. All right. KFC is not just frying chicken. They contract other people to breed chicken for them and make chicken for them. They're not just supplying to KFC alone. If they have extras, they supply to other companies as well. And the thing about it is that the sales that they're talking about does not necessarily come from the sales of the population. Sometimes they invest into other stocks. So when stage migration does occur, not when one doing well, so well that the whole company looking like if it's doing well together. But when you really break it down and do a detailed analysis as to where the sale is coming from, it's not from the population base. That is a fact. Because if you look at the GDP level right now and the income that is coming out of the country, you can tell, hey, KFC not really getting all them sales. Most of them sales coming from other manufacturing thing that it does do within KFC. Prestige holding a matter of fact. That is all I'm saying. And the next thing, since user man Matthew that have this type of analytical skill, and the population might be provoked regardless if today rate falling, tomorrow not falling, it's not falling, and they might be provoked into doing something bad. User man supposed to be on program like this all the time, just like us. Join us here on the front line.
But I just be there
and talk to the people at Trinidad.
Listen to me. I was like, according to Crow, he and Shagalos was busting the liver string. I have been there. And when I see my black brothers and them pushing me to the forefront to see if I go get licks with the whips and turn in the back and say, you go, I go stand up from the shadows and watch. Why must I bust my back for you and you not standing shoulder to shoulder with me? I can't do it anymore.
Okay, guys, we have other people on the panel. Star, do you want to make a contribution?
Yes. What I was saying is that I find this government, this UNC government, not the government, the Prime Minister withholding plenty things from the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, right? And we as a citizen... Make some sense now. It ain't making no sense at all.
Can you hold on, please? Let's hold on. Continue,
yes, I was saying that the Prime Minister not getting about talking and coming and opening a forum to say something what is going on in the country, right? You understand? It have a little child, a little girl there, 12 years. Yeah, come on and make open a forum and say something. Nothing. People, right now, the people in Trinidad and Tobago fed up. I am all fed up. What going in this country, right? You're raising everything, high, sky high, everything go up high. So we, the citizens of the country, we have to pay for everything, right? Right? Sky high, rocket high, right? And I find that is too much pressure for the poor man to go through now, right? Thank you. Have a blessed night.
You too. But we keep talking about a third party, and let's be real. Third parties, they are rarely successful. We would have known, well, to me, I would have known that voting in this government, it would have been chaos because they would have had their agenda and a vendetta. But you all went ahead and voted them in. And I'm saying, we have Penelope here. Penelope is a ground person. She is very warm. She is a people person. You all would have given this government another chance. in running and managing the affairs of this country, you all gamble, and look what happened. I'm saying Penelope is there. Let us see how she will run the affairs of this country. What other option do we have? What other
You are
option?
correct. Correct, yeah, correct.
No, let's be real. There's either PNM or UNC. You all would have had the opportunity to give Michaela Pandey's party that chance. You all did not. You all did not. Right?
I think, sorry, just want to interject for a second, permit me. I have been looking at, and I know I'm going to raise a lot of hairs when I say this. I have been looking at Karen Nunes Teixeira, and she pulled out of the last general election because maybe she didn't have the financial capital to push. But I think she has a strong chance at being the change that we want to see. And again, it's open to conversation.
Karen, I would have known, been watching Karen and her personality. Karen, I don't think, again, you all would have had Dr. Rowley at the helm. You all would have had Dr. Rowley, and what was the problems? Oh, he too aggressive. Oh, he like a bull. Oh, he not listening. Oh, he only buffle up everybody. You all would have had that aggressive leadership style, and you all didn't like it. Hence the reason you all voted them out. Now you have someone more softer. She isn't aggressive. She isn't loud. She isn't boisterous. And you all don't want that? You all don't want that?
And she stands
We are
up
stepping away. We are stepping away from the male chauvinistic side of governance into something more soft and feminine. You all would have given again.
I love Ms. Beckel. That is my MP. I love her, and I know she's down to earth.
Yes, she is.
Ask Matthew something.
She's down to earth. I can tell anybody that.
Matthews.
She's very down to earth.
Matthews, let me ask you something, right? You said these citizens and them in Trinidad and Tobago not suffering and things like that, right? So what would you say about what going in Tobago last night? Where they back and
I didn't say. Again, I want to be very clear on what I say, and if is anything that's misunderstood on my contribution, I'm willing to repeat it. I didn't say that people are not suffering, right? I put questions forward, whereby when I make my contribution, I say to the panel, to the listeners of my contribution, right? I know I had to get up and get bread in the morning. I don't expect a politician to do that for me. That's my standpoint. I had to feed myself and take care of my family as best as I could. I'm not going to sit down and wait on them. I could only speak for me.
Your take?
Right?
So what is your take about how they rip out an ATM machine in Tobago last night?
That is, again, that is a different topic for a different day. And if you want me to touch on that, I will tell you the underground, not say the underground. The criminal element in this country is doing the homework to target where they need to go. Because look at it again. If you want to analyze that situation, how long it took that backhoe to operate to get that ATM out of the wall? Where was the police? It's a SOE beyond that. You telling me that level of noise in a quiet neighborhood that hour of the morning, nobody called the police to say, hey, you're back operating in a strange place, and police didn't respond and deal with the situation? The men were able to get away to because it's a small place.
Where was the police for half of the crimes were going into Trinidad and Tobago under this SOE? Just like the
criminal element are doing the homework.
Just like the 2-year-old child who died in Tobago, and they still can recover the little boy body as there to give him a burial.
Again, the criminal elements are doing their homework. What happened in the case of where, and I will carry your mind back, what happened in the case of where there was a heist on the highway with a security van, where a man who was on the verge of retiring, right, probably 5 days from retirement, spending his last few days on work, was killed in a heist. When they checked the when they follow the paper trail or whatever you may call it, the investigation, a particular van was used. It was parked in the airport for a couple of days. They said that it was high-profile men. It was no regular citizen who could put on that kind of crime, because they would have known how the center of gravity would have shifted in the vehicle when they ram it from the back and all these kind of things. These criminal elements are doing the homework. So those sit down and say, the people outrightly broad brush it and say, the people suffering why they take tobacco and do that. Nobody's going to get the keys to tobacco if they didn't know how to operate tobacco. You understand? So we had to really look
Right
at
now,
the investigations.
right. So this government
do research.
Presently, this government have a SOE in right now, and at what point is it serving? You understand why these things are happening recently in the country? What point is it serving? You understand?
And this is the question. This is the question that this is the question that I ask. Just like the previous contributor who would have said.
People say.
So wait now, Matthew. So you not paying them at all. Your money not going to them at all. You ain't getting your money at all.
What you mean? Forgive the background noise. The other contributor who would have asked. I'm trying to remember the question he asked. But anyway, right? To sum up what I'm saying is, yes, my money is paying them. Oh, he was asking the question of why am I not on these panels and on these topics and conversations. Brother, I just call radio stations. I just talk at length. And there are many times I call a radio station and the host of the radio station, when he realizes I'm talking facts, they just say, we have to take another call, are we going for a break? Anyone have only experienced that? And I'm talking about with this present regime in place and past regimes, right? People are being silenced in this country when they want to make certain contributions. I can only do so much. I could participate in how much lives, I could participate in how much marches, but again, if we don't stand shoulder to shoulder to really stand for what we believe in, we will continue to have conversations like this, believing that we're making an effort when it's a small membership group like this one that I believe it might not get anywhere once this live is ended.
Yes, yeah, Alicia Philip. Alicia
is using scare tactics to intimidate the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? Because if people come out and speak, we end up like Jason De Silva, we end up like Johan, we end up like Alicia Philip, and others.
Oh.
You understand? Or we might even end up like Joshua Samaru, surrender and still get shot 19 times. You understand? So that is the scare tactics this UNC government is using. And when PNM was in power, as bad as I said Dr. Keith Rowley was, that scare tactics wasn't there, because people said all kind of thing about Dr. Keith Rowley. Even they call him an Oreo and all. And I haven't seen nobody get a detention order. And he haven't bring out no scare tactics. You understand?
Exactly. I'm not going to say that. Yes.
And let's be real. We cannot go out there and come together to show the government we mean business. We can't. They didn't operate like this during 2010 to 2015. Right? But now, whoever gave them that advice to silence and muzzle everybody, all of a sudden they came back into government, and that is the agenda that they are pushing. We don't have any rights. We cannot voice our opinions. We cannot say how we feel. They are very thin-skinned. They cannot take criticisms well. They can't take criticisms at all.
Yeah, go on from here.
Who is that?
That's your contribution, honey. Right? That is fact. They cannot take criticisms. And we have to be fair and we have to be logical across the board.
Yeah.
things.
You're 100% correct.
Good. People were employed. What we refer to as the grass cutters. They were keeping the small man economy going. I am talking to people who own parlors, and the people, they cannot even purchase items in the parlor. People can't even go and replenish their stocks because they're not getting that support. Things are very, very hard. Somehow, the PNM government was able to keep the economy afloat and people had their jobs.
But Amber, one thing I'll
People
say.
was paid.
Amber, look, the PNM government guided us through COVID while the country was shut down. You understand?
Yes, they did.
As bad as I say Dr. Keith Rowley was, the man guided us through COVID. People wasn't home like how they're home now.
Not only that, we were given weekly press conferences. Tell me I lied.
I was not going to bring up that.
Prime Minister giving us weekly press conferences, letting the nation know what is taking place.
No, you're a lie. That is true. I stand with you. 100% correct.
Yeah? No?
You're correct.
I asked the other day on Candace Live, do we have a prime minister? When last we see this lady come out and address the nation? Look how much children has died. And this woman haven't come out and address the nation and give her condolences. You understand? Dr. Keith Rowley was arrogant, but he used to come out and address the nation. You might feel like some of the things we used to say. But
yes,
every week that man used to come out the nation.
And you know something? Go ahead, Chatter.
No, you go ahead. I'll listen to you.
Again, talking about COVID, right? When the children were doing their schooling online, the Ministry of Social Development would have went out there and seeked all the children, look for all the children that were on the school feeding program, and they were all given temporary food cards. You hear what I'm telling you? I got one, right? That was to provide meals for the children who were home during COVID. Right?
Okay.
Now look.
I
people are going and applying for assistance. Tahok, mute your mic a little bit. People are going to social welfare. Yeah, we getting a kind of feedback. People are going for assistance, social welfare in Tinapuna, and are getting run around. Persons applying for pension since last year, not even getting through. And I'm saying, come on. You can't be taking everything away from everybody, and when people come in for assistance, they're not getting any.
But Amber, it's alleged, right? And I'm using the word again, it's alleged. The UNC blogging team, that's Twiggy, Starks, Matara, NCW, Mr. and Mrs., all of them have food cards. They have food cards, you understand? And they, Twiggy is drawing a salary of 12,500. Stark salary is 8,000 something a month. And them have food cards. You understand? So, make it make sense now. Why did have people out here who cannot feed their family and provide for their family? And you're giving those people who don't need it food cards. You understand?
That is so sad. That is so sad.
Policy of the UNC government. You understand? And just like what the late Prime Minister said, Mr. Patrick Manning, the UNC, when they come in power, is just to enrich themselves and their family. They do not care about the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and you are coming to see that now. Because when that woman stand up and say, I was too nice the last time, this time I will not be so nice. And you're seeing it now. This woman is punishing us for when we vote out to 2015 till she get back in 2025, she are punishing the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are seeing it now. And I don't really care what nobody have to say now, but I'm telling you, the only way forward and the only person who could bring us out of this is Miss Penelope Beckers and the PNM. We need a party with experience, a party who was there, who doing the groundwork, because Michaela Pandey, she ain't ready. You understand? We need a party who is experienced and who know, because Inbert, look through COVID, Inbert, look that this man balanced the economy. This man had the country afloat. People was getting paid. People were surviving. CPEP, URP, everybody was getting paid. Look right now, garbage is not being collected. The garbage is not being collected. Look at the state of the promenade. You see the state of the promenade? The promenade is in a mess. The promenade is like a dump. And I remember when the PNM was in power, when I driving through on the promenade, we used to see the corporation workers emptying the garbage bag and cleaning up and cutting the grass and blowing, and you ain't seeing that again. And that is the capital of the city. So when foreigners come now and they see that, you know what I'm thinking? Trinidad and Tobago stink, we nasty. We's a dump.
Well, that's what she said, you know. And look at this. I saw where they were recommending to give the public servants food cards, and I think it was a gas subsidy or something like that. Really? Part of the reason they won was the promises they made to the public servants, you know. So you all are recommending giving the public servants food cards. What amount? What amount is that justifiable? What amount can you justifiably give to a public servant that will compensate for their back pay? What amount? It's sad to say, but you all have been hard. You all have been hard, you all have been fooled, you all have been conned. And I'm saying, you all gave this government another chance. Give Penelope a chance. Give Penelope a chance. Let's see what she can do. Let's see if she can turn things around.
You see this UNC party cannot win an election on their own. There is only when they team up with other people, that you only saw they could win election. If they go a one-on-one election, PNM, they could never beat PNM in a one-on-one election. Last time I was a team up. This time is team up with the union to win election with promises. So they cannot beat PNM one-on-one at all. They have to team up, and that has been their downfall.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. We don't have any other option. I don't think this country can survive 2 terms with this government. They are doing everything to annihilate what the PNM would have done. Look, I have someone I know, a young guy. He wanted to get into MIC. And they would have changed the entry requirements, and now they are requiring English and math. And I'm saying, the youth from the ground level coming into the hotspot areas, most likely they won't have now those subjects. And that was something open to all. Why are they sort of filtering that now? Why are they filtering the entry requirements and filtering the cadre of youths that coming in to do those programs now? That is unfair. That is unfair. And it's all these things.
You know one thing I had to say, Amber? I listening to this jackass David Welch today, right? And saying underneath the PNM, they only had a set of programs and educated. Well, that we basically saying that they're educating the black man and giving them passes and O levels and thing, right? Like, and now he's saying that how when they get the passes and thing, and they come out into the working public, they can't get a job. You understand? But what the UNC government is doing right now? Huh?
Yes.
What the UNC government is doing right now? You understand? It have people who are qualified, who is fit for the position, and because why? They never back the UNC government. They are put on the sideline.
Tata, you know how many? I've always believed that they are sort of paranoid. A lot of persons who were employed in the public sector, both Afro and Indos, were sent home. The Indos who were in the public sector were sent home because they were deemed to be P&M supporters. And they were making a living, they were paying their bills, they were sending their children to school, and now they can't do that. I met one, he was working CPEP, he is of East Indian descent. And he had his little things going. He was able to send his daughter to pay for her tuition and all these things. And he had to hustle taxi now. This guy has to hustle taxi. And that is sad. That is sad.
They're coming behind the PH drivers and all too right now. You understand? They're coming behind the PH drivers. Look where they do the vendors and them in Grandy. People who coming out and trying, they don't want to turn their life a crime. They're coming out and they're finding all how to shut down the people and them. When you could charge a man who take up a car, his car mightn't be roadworthy up to 100%, but the road is not worthy right now.
Exactly.
Every turn is a pothole, is a big hole, is a critter yard of bricks. And a man take up a little car just to feed his family, pay a rent, maybe to send his children to school. And you sending out the police and the traffic wardens and them out there to give a man a $2,000 or $10,000 ticket. You find that justified, Madam Prime Minister? And you was the same one on the podium who said, when I come in power, I will address that and I will carry down the road fines. You understand? You raise a fine for driving no seatbelt to $3,000. You raise a fine when Dr. Keith Rowley was there. If they catch you with a broken light bulb, was $750 to $2,000. Driving without insurance is $10,000. That is the road fines people have to face. Look at the coconut vendor. That man get $19,000 in tickets. And that is a loving Prime Minister. That is a woman who said, nobody will love you like the way I will. If that love, I don't want to see where it's hating her.
My brother, could I interject for a second? Right? Now, I understand your point of view, and again, I will reiterate, I am not a sycophant of any party, and I will agree with the host, right, in terms of giving the present opposition leader a chance. But again, do proper research, unbiased research, and then bring a contribution. Because you see where you said just now that she raised fines and she raised this and she raised that. You see personal responsibility, brother. Roads don't kill people. A bad road don't kill people. When a man with an old vehicle run off the road and careen into your relatives, you want to hear it's a bad road? No. Right? Don't blame the bad roads. It's personal responsibility. If you want to work taxi, there's regulations to be followed, and people like to be lawless and want to say, I don't have a choice. I do accept that. Sorry. If you want to be a business owner, you have to go and study a business course, you have to go and do your business practices, you have to go and register your business and follow protocols. Why would you take a derelict vehicle? Why would you take a derelict vehicle and then go and say you're putting it on the road? To kill who? So
let me ask you something. You ever see how a roadblock in Trinidad and Tobago has been conducted?
Yes, I've been part of many.
They targeted one type of people.
Yes, we know that. We know that. We know that. I've seen many times I've been in a roadblock.
If it's road safety, if there's so thing about what you're talking about is road safety, right? And they'll be out there and watching and monitoring and making sure people is obeying the law. Why when the whole road block, right? The Benz and the BMW and all the high class vehicles pass through. And as the man who driving the little Tida or the B14 is being pulled to the side and fined. You understand? And let me tell you, next thing, if it's so road safety, right? When the police is holding a roadblock, you ever see them search a vehicle? They just watch out the defects on the vehicle and charge you. That car could have guns, it could have a dead body in the trunk. They don't care about that. They care about the fines. The government is that's just another drive, another revenue drive for the government. So don't come and tell me nothing about no safety. That is nothing to do with no safety. Because you could buy a brand new car from the showroom and you go and drink and you get drunk and you could run into a family and kill them the same way. So don't
yes, we know that. Yes, we know that. But what I'm saying is, when you want to, I
have a question. Tell me if I'm wrong or I'm right with this question, right? And is the licensing officer is the one who has to issue the ticket for the driver, not the police?
No, the laws have been restructured. The police could also issue a ticket and you have to fight it in court. A licensing officer can I believe the licensing officer is the only one who could tell you to remove certain items on spot, like your tint and them kind of thing. Police cannot tell you to remove your tint. They could tell you, okay, you have your fine to pay, fight it in court. You understand? I stand to be corrected. I stand to be corrected.
Matthew, but that is happening. That is literally happening.
I made a video there the other day, home down by me in Digo Mountain, right? I had 2 cars scrapping in front of my gateway, right? The police had a roadblock opposite because I literally live in like a stone throw away from the main road, right? 2 police officers came down my street and see my car park up there. You understand? Who is the owner of this car? Say me, I say, I'm scrapping the car and thing right now. You know, I'm selling parts from it and thing. This car don't have no inspection. I say, sir, but the car is scrapping. You have insurance? No. I get a $14,000 ticket. Is that being roadworthy? Is that being safe on the road? 2 cars, what is scrapping?
Again, victimization and intimidation is what is being practiced by the police officers. And because nobody willing to stand with you, it prevails.
Yeah, but what are we supposed to do? Matthew, let's be real. We go out there and we stand against oppression from the TTPS. What do you think they are going to do to us? Let's be real.
Let me tell you what
they have created stay. Stay is what have us in grips like this.
All right,
they are the ones walking around acting like they can do whatever they want. And let's be real.
Right.
They are.
Right. So let me say this, right? And again, one of the contributors. Go ahead.
Well, hold on a minute. When you contest that ticket, right? We are in 2026. You know what date? You know what court hearing I get? What date? In 2032.
Right.
You understand? And my driver's permit is expiring in 2030. I have to use my car to drop my daughter to work. But my next daughter to school, I have to come to work with my car. So when my permit expires, I cannot renew my permit until the next 2 years. Because you cannot renew your permit once you have a court matter before the court. Okay? So you see how unjust the system is?
Right. And again, my brother, you are one, even though you might be one in your community, you are not the only one in this country that is happening to. And again, when you say what you say tonight, and I call in a radio station in the morning and I speak about what you said, the host shutting me down. Because he's in fear of his company being brought by Matt and Tat and all them kind of people, shutting them down for freedom of speech, freedom of expression. So you see, it's not just not a one-turn thing, right? And again, it happened to you. Are you willing to pair with somebody else who suffered the same fate and have a petition signed and approach the government of the day? I was part of many. I've been part of many petitions.
So, Matthew, I tried that in Trinidad here. You know what happened to us? The group where the police targeted, we was getting our tickets every day. I get 10 tickets. You understand?
Intimidation.
I could break them 10 tickets every day. They stop me and give me a ticket.
Intimidation and victimization is the order of the day. That's why I keep saying.
Right now I have $12,000 to pay. Where am I getting $12,000 to pay?
Matthew, someone has a question. Someone has a question. They want to know what was all the outrage against Imbert about?
The outrage against Imbert is because Colum Imbert was, quote unquote, taking the grassroots people for idiots. That is just my point of view, and I just summarizing, right? Because it was for me, it was it was outright arrogance again, and somewhat disrespectful to tell the working class. I raise it again, they riot. Well, let me raise it again, and it's a big laugh because every damn one of them getting tax exemptions for high-end vehicle, tax exemptions at the gas pump, tax exemptions for the grocery bill, perks for housing allowance. How could you tell your voters that I raise it and I raise it and I raise it and they want to raise it and it's a laugh? You see, that will aggravate anybody. So that was the outrage with Colum Imbert.
Okay.
That's from my standpoint.
Okay.
It did not raise nothing. It's in COVID time to know. It's in that time frame. It did not raise nothing.
Yes, but what
Hold on again, I'll call. Hold on.
What the UNC government is doing to us presently, you run off there.
Exactly.
What the UNC government is doing to us presently. You remember when the Prime Minister came in power, she said those rental, exemption, she will cancel it. And if a minister wants to rent a house in Port Spain, he have to dip into his own pocket and do it. You know that still exists? You know the taxpayers are paying for them to rent a house any way they want. You understand? Come on now, man. I prefer be on that Imbert than to be on that Dave Tanku right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because Dave Tanku and them mismanaging money right now. Then
Guys, we have hangover. Hold on, chatter. We have hangover. Good night.
Good night. Yeah, man?
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why I put up that question, what was the problem with Imbert? And you hear the answer, right? The arrogance of what he was telling people, because he now make a whole set of excuse there for the fines, right? You say the fines on them is because people out of, or we can say, it's to control people, be breaking the laws and all them sort of thing.
Forgive me, I didn't hear half of what Oli was saying because I had a call coming in. So go ahead, I'm listening.
Hold on a minute, man.
The fines, when they spoke about the fines, because the whole point about the argument from on the PNM with Imbert to now is the same fines. UNC used these fines and all these raising of taxes on their political platform as something that they were totally against and they were not going to do. It is all documented. We could jump high, jump low. That was the problem. What was one of the major problems the UNC had against the PNM for the last couple of years? That is why I asked about Imbert, because you have to be, he's talking about unbiased, We're talking about reality here. Because the whole thing about Imbert was cutting, remember the gas and all them sort of thing everybody was kicking up against, the raising of the property tax and all of these sort of things. Now they change the property tax and talking about fines. And before UNC, same Kamala was telling the nation that the fines was just a hidden tax. Understand? It was used on the platform as one of their major talking points to win the elections. So now they've gone a total 180 to every single thing they had a problem with under the PNM. Even down to national security. They had their arguments when PNM even when Manning was there. When Manning was bringing the English here to help him fight the crime, they had a problem with that. They said it would have demoralized the police service. They said it would have, everything across the board had a problem with. Understand? They come back again when Dr. Rowley was bringing across the FBI to come and help with the police, and the same thing again. They talk about the sovereignty. Nation sovereignty and the police service and demoralizing the police service and all the law this and the law that. Now, a total 180 to every single issue they had on the PNM. So this is why people will have a problem, because if you want to raise the fines, the same thing that you was campaigning against, and as I say, everything is documented. Everything, the proof is there, all the information is there. Just a simple thing as Google it and you will see it there. So now for them to come and do the nation this, what's going on? People have a right to speak out. People have a right, and now you can't even speak now in certain fashion, because now they're attacking any form, anybody who's saying anything. They come in, people have social media platforms, they try to shut you down, they're attacking you. Even some of them that's coming in, if I could show you the amount of people, especially females, who speak out. They're coming in people in boxes, they're threatening you, they're saying some of the most vile and nasty things to people. Just because people speaking out on the issues, and everything now is a race thing. Everything now, as you speak, is a race thing. And everything else before it was a problem. It was a problem, and now all of a sudden, like magic, like somebody waved sprinkle some fairy dust, and everything just changed. Like we wasn't saying nothing about the same issues that we was quarreling about for the last couple of years. So show me what are the fundamental changes you're seeing under this government? None. Everything that, and if you watch, even the projects that they're working on, most of what everything is things that what Stuart Young and all of them put in place and work for the last couple of years, because people feel Rome will be built in a day. Many of these discussions and negotiations and all these sort of things will be going on for years. That simple thing as that gas deal, what we had with Venezuela, we had a 30-year gas deal with Venezuela. You know? 30 years, you know. We did get underneath the Biden administration. We had a 3-year, fucking. Even when Trump did come and play cutting it and whatever, eventually, he would have had to put it back any way you take it. Understand? We didn't have to go through all that drama and in people business and disrespect the CARICOM and all that sort of nonsense for what's going on here now. Let me be real now, man. Let me be real.
Powerful contribution from powerful speakers, man. Powerful. And I ain't gonna lie, I mean, we're reaching up close to the time, Miss
We are, guys. Yes, we are. So, people, y'all can make your closing contributions as we get ready to wrap this up. Hold on, Mary. Hi, good night, Mary, Miss Mary. You have a contribution to make? Going once. Good night. All right, I don't know what's going on there. John F., good night.
Good night, good night. You hear me, right?
Situation, yeah.
Well, I was just listening, and I would just simply say this, right? I remember some years ago. I mean, I am young, but I remember listening to some old video with this guy who goes by the name of Abu Bakr, right? And he had made a statement concerning the same stuff with the police, right? And what I remember he said was that the people of Trinidad and Tobago need to remember that we are many and they are few, right? And there is power in numbers. You understand? Because at the end of the day, as much as the police might try to intimidate, and as much as the police might try to do this or do that, the reality is, if we actually stand together, you will see the change. But you see, sometimes we go say, all right, we're coming out to protest about something, right? But you only see a few people come out. Certain things that happen where the whole nation was supposed to come out. You only see 6-7 people come out. You understand what I'm saying? So if we want to see the change, we have to be the change. Because at the end of the day, actions will always speak louder than words.
So true. Guys, you want to give your closing contributions?
Before you all close off, I wanted to thank you for giving me a voice on your platform. And I will stand in solidarity with you and the members of this panel. If you all have anything that you all want to make public, I will be there. I made this quite clear on another platform during COVID when we were protesting, right? And the order of the day was the anti-vaxxers against the vaxxers. I am an anti-vaxxer, and I will stand and say that I am, right? The last election, the guy who was making his contribution about this government not doing anything, I will agree with you somewhat that nothing is being done, and they shifted labels and they bring back the same system. But again, nobody's saying anything about it because everybody's saying, well, we hushed him out because it benefited us the way it is, right? But for me, I did not vote them in. I have not voted for UNC in all my life because I belong to a constituency that has been PNM since the inception of democracy, which is the East-West Corridor. My entire community always votes for PNM. It's a PNM stronghold, right? So in closing, again, I thank you for my time. And anytime you have a live like this again, send me a notification. I will come up and we will discuss. And again, I will be willing to sign petitions and be part of any public protest without being fearful of being arrested. I have been part of many protests, but I protest with intelligence. I ain't going to get locked up for no irresponsible behavior, if you understand what I'm saying. Thank you. Have a blessed night.
Same to you. It was a pleasure having you, sir. Anyone else? Closing comments?
Well, let us say a little last thing here too, because one thing we, as we say that it doesn't have a unified front on anything, any action that has to be taken, because it really reaches to the point of the haves and the haves not. Because here, when I was talking about COVID time, because I remember too, during COVID time, the government had given out stimulus checks to people. A lot of people who collected 4,500, 6,000. I know a lot of people who collected money. I and all even got money when I applied for the grant. The grant from I got money. I got food stuff, all them sort of things, because
I as well.
over. And I remember that time, it was a hard time because everybody seen what was going around the world. It was a disease. I was one of the persons who stand up for the vaccine because I had a different outlook on the vaccine because I had a little more education around it. Because a lot of the talk that I was hearing around the vaccine to me was more or less people just talking out and just, talking and don't understand what they was talking about, So I had a different outlook on the vaccines and so forth and thing over that period of time. And what I would say too is that what we have to do is really stand on because you're watching this government now used to call Dr. Rowley a dictator. And they used to call Dr. Rowley a dictator for trying to deal with Maduro to get a gas deal, for us here in the country, because as we see now how serious the gas is to the country. A lot of people might be now waking up to the factors of it, even though they have some of us for the last how much a year has been preaching over and over, and we don't want to understand. And now they find it as important now because this government in power. So, but the years and now they're trying to, as we say, shut down the voices. They're attacking media houses. They want to shut down The Guardian. They want to shut down radio stations. They had people leaving radio stations. Now they're shutting down voices all over social media. And it goes back to what they have been doing for the last couple of years over social media, because if people do investigations, they will see what the UNC did back in the day concerning the Cambridge Analytica, when the guy was charged in a court case in England, when the Australian government and the English government charged Cambridge Analytica for interfering in the elections. And the evidence was put forward that Trinidad and Tobago was like the pilot project for the starting grounds for what they went on to do in America in and things. So they used Trinidad as the first area to do their research, and they did that research for UNC, was targeting to shut down the young black vote in Trinidad and Tobago. The evidence is there, and they employ the same bot program for this last election, because when you're in this election, you got to find out when the charges came from Jamaica that a company called Blue Dot in Jamaica, where they have this bot farming, they do use bot farms and all these other things over social media, and to carry misinformation and pushes misinformation and all of these other things. So we have to understand the realities of what we're dealing with and deal with the truth and the facts. And when we deal with the truth and the facts, we will understand what it is about. But we also have to educate ourselves on the issues and know what we're talking about and what we're dealing with. And this is a serious thing. So people, if them coming together and going forward on a platform, they have to know what we're doing, know what we're talking about, and deal with it within a certain way. Because they're targeting people in a certain way, if you understand what I mean.
So true.
With these detention. So a lot of people have to watch what they're saying, because some people making mistakes and saying certain things out of the way and out of timing and putting them in problems. So they have to know what they're saying to, and have to be very, very serious around the facts and the issues. Because all they really have to do is just speak the truth to them. All they have to do is just speak the facts and the truth to them, and everything is there. You don't need to get extravagant and talk about who race and who color and who religion and all them nonsense. We don't need to go down that road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The information is there. So have a blessed night.
You too. Chatter, your closing comments?
No, I just want to say, everybody who was here on the panel tonight, have a blessed night. And to you have a blessed night. And we will see tomorrow again now, right?
Warrior, hopefully.
Warrior, how you going? Have a good night.
Thank you guys for this opportunity. It was my first time. I was a little shy, but thank you guys. You guys have been nice. So hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. Good night, Warrior. Good night, Angela. Good night, everybody. Good night, Mags. Good night, Glenroy. Thank you guys, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Please, God, be safe.
I know that it is, Johan would have made statements that it is we as his family and we as a nation do not agree with. It was disrespectful and it was offensive and it should not have been done. And a lot of people are going to feel like maybe he deserves what it is he gets, but he's a human being and he's my brother, and more than anything, we just want him to survive. So, if you can't help, please do help.
Listen, sir, allow it to pass.
I see consciousness
again,
let's just start commission all the bad. Let's start you're not doing anything wrong, Assistant Commissioner. Alessa. Let Officer Jerry understand it. He's the Assistant Commissioner.
They did not tell me anything like that. I did not.
The arrangement that was made before, because I spoke to you, spoke to Mr. Omar, would have represented.
He's not Alice.
Baby, I want you to do what you want to do. I want you to exercise all your rights.
All
right, baby, relax.
Relax,
Alyssa.
Excuse me. Why are you seeing a placard in my hand? Talk to the person who have a placard in their hand. Are you seeing a placard in my hand?
Alyssa, relax.
I would like to walk peacefully.
Alyssa.
Let go me. I would like to walk peacefully. Let go me.
Alyssa, let you tell your father.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessa's announcement that U.S. Navy SEAL personnel are on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago is raising eyebrows.
I asked the question
to the Prime Minister, who are the designated trusts that the SEAL team is here to take out?
The United States Navy SEALs are the Navy's premier special operations force, with the acronym standing for Sea, Air and Land. SEALs are tasked with some of the most complex and secretive missions in the U.S. military. But here at home, the Prime Minister says the elite force will provide support and training to the Coast Guard and Defence Force in areas such as border protection, drug interdiction and internal security. We're awaiting a response from the Prime Minister on why training from this specialized unit in particular. But criminologist Darius Figuera is questioning whether training is the full story.
The next thing the people of Trinidad and Tobago must understand is that the Trump administration has indicated that it now intends to declare Chinese transnational organized crime as a terrorist threat to America. Do we have Chinese transnational organized crime in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean and Latin America? That is what you use the SEAL team for.
But former National Security Minister Gary Griffith says the public should not jump to conclusions. He insists the SEALs are not coming to conduct operations or make arrests.
So the concept that I am seeing of the SEALs is not in any way that they will be involved in operations. So they are not coming here as an avenue to fight crime or to combat crime. They can, however, arrive here to be involved in training our elite units, such as the Special Naval Unit of the Coast Guard, the Special Forces in the Army, and probably even tactical elite units in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, to train them to deal with counter-revolutionary warfare, to deal with terrorist activities, to be able to deal with extraction and clinical operations.
Regional security expert Dr. Gavin Hira also sees value in the partnership. He says transnational criminal networks involved in drug trafficking, weapons smuggling and human trafficking require international cooperation. According to Hira, the development should be viewed as a capacity-building exercise rather than foreign intervention. He argues that TNT's location along major trafficking routes makes stronger maritime security and intelligence sharing essential. Still, Hira cautions that foreign assistance alone will not solve the country's crime problem, saying long-term success depends on intelligence reform, strong investigations, anti-corruption measures and improved prosecution rates. Just last week, a US and TTDF troops teamed up for joint training at the Tetron Barracks to boost medical readiness in tough environments. The US Special Operations Command South said the exercise is part of ongoing efforts to deepen cooperation between the United States and Trinidad and Tobago. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.